Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Over the years, I've owned several wireless routers, and by and large, I've stuck with the Linksys brand. And then recently, as I have blogged about, my Linksys Wireless N router just decided to die. I mean, I didn't hack it, I didn't flash the firmware to any unofficial open source build or anything. It just powers up, then immediately powers down. In fact, sometimes it doesn't even power up. It's dead. So I needed to get a new wireless access point / router, specifically of the gigabit variety. Wireless and gigabit, they kind of go hand in hand. So an email came in from Oli Kenobi. He says, "Hi Chris, I plan on changing my wireless router soon, and I'm very interested by the AirPort Extreme base station because of its USB plug that allows to share a printer or hard drives, and also because it's an Apple product, so I guess it's easy to set up. I will need to share a couple of hard drives and my printer on my network, 1 PC and 2 Macs, and I think this would be a good solution that would avoid me to keep any of my computers always on just in order to share my media. I've understood that you've had a Linksys router for a long time. I know they have a solid reputation, but what do you think about the AirPort Extreme? Have you considered it the last time when you changed your router? Is it worth the price, or are there better options for the same price? Basically, could you give me any advice for a wireless router? I thank you in advance for your answer." So while I'm answering this question, right now I want you to type in which router you happen to be using, if you're using a router at all, or which ones you would recommend, if not Apple or my former product line, Linksys. Well, I did go out and use my $100 iPhone rebate to get $100 off an AirPort Extreme base station, and so I installed it, and the installation was admittedly exceedingly simple. Plugged it in, connected a computer to it using an Ethernet cable. It ran through a wizard. I used the software, the AirPort utility that comes with the Mac. Of course, you could also throw in the disk to make sure you have the latest version installed. Nothing, unlike other routers you may have been used to, is browser-based. So every configuration aspect and every access to the router settings is going to be specifically through some kind of desktop client, whether that be on OS X or Windows. And the CD comes with both packages, so that you don't have to worry about getting one for the PC or one for OS X. I set it up, clicked through a few of the options, got used to its nuances. It was a little strange, but you know, it's true to form with Apple. They really hide the things that most people don't need to see. I went through there, saw that I could do a few things that I couldn't do before on other wireless routers, including assigning a static DHCP to a specific computer. Maybe I could do that before, I just never thought it was as simple as it was on the AirPort Extreme. So, hey, bottom line, it was simpler to do. One concern that I've run into, and this may keep me from using this as a primary wireless access point, is that I can't spoof my MAC address. Now, I'm not talking about Mac OS X. Remember, we've done a whole video on a MAC address. So without being able to spoof it, when I have Comcast Business Internet installed, I have, boy, I said that weird, Internet. When I have it installed, I believe they only want to allow you to access the internet through one MAC address, and if that's the case, I can't find an easy way of updating the AirPort Extreme base station so that I'm spoofing a MAC address that I may have used to originally connect to the Comcast Business Internet connection. So we'll see what happens with that. That is one relatively big disappointment of mine. I haven't found a way to do it, at least through any kind of software hacks. Most of that is related to the AirPort card that would be inside a particular Apple machine, not necessarily the base station, in terms of spoofing the MAC address. I also found it a bit odd that to get the Windows software, you had to use the CD. Normally, I install the latest version of software from the web, but you can't download the latest Apple AirPort utility for Windows from the web. You have to install it from the CD, and other people had the same issue, which is just really kind of strange. Speed has been good. It's easy to change settings. I changed the channel a couple of different times. Started with the default, moved up and down, and found one that works quite well. In fact, I'm pretty much not halfway across the house, but I'm about a floor away, and I've got, at least on my Mac, I've got 5 little beams emanating. That means that's about as strong a signal as you could possibly get, a wireless N connection. So it's pretty darn fast, certainly faster than wireless G. Would I recommend it? Well, yeah, I would. I paid for that Linksys gigabit. Wasn't the same exactly, but I paid a little over $200 for it. I got it on a CompUSA closeout, which means I can't return it, since CompUSA has closed most, if not all, of their storefronts. So, I mean, under $200, I thought it was pretty good, gigabit speeds. The fact that it's got a USB port, I thought was interesting at first, and then the more reviews I read, the more I realized it was just kind of like one of those features that I probably was never going to use. You can connect a printer to it, you can connect USB to it, or you can connect a USB hard drive to it as well, but some of the transfer speeds, at least as far as hard drives are concerned, are questionable. And some people who have connected USB hard drives to their AirPort Extreme base station have since put that drive on a computer through, at any point in their network, since they have better speeds there than they do through the base station. I have no idea why, or if that's necessarily going to be addressed, or if it necessarily has been addressed with any kind of firmware update. That reminds me, another reason why I would recommend the AirPort. When I first accessed it through the software, it notified me that there's a firmware update available. Do you want to download and install it? Sure. That was it. Wow. Wow. That's great. The fact that it checks for updates, it downloads the updates, installs the updates, no muss, no fuss. That's the way updating firmware should be across the board. Unbelievably easy, simple, straightforward. Yeah, I like it. In fact, one of the things I did immediately, instead of connecting a USB for a network drive, I installed the MacStore Shared Storage 2. And if you could read that little, those 3 little characters there, 1TB, that stands for 1 terabyte of network storage. Unfortunately, the network, this particular storage device is like a Samba share, so I can't format it to be used with Time Machine, at least at this point in time. Maybe they'll update that. But this particular device actually runs Linux. There's a Linux operating system that makes this little thing go. It's a built-in RAID 1 automatic mirroring, too, which is really kind of cool. So, yeah, that's kind of a side review. Would I recommend this? Well, I haven't really had a chance to use it yet, but setup for this was pretty simple too. But I'd recommend using this kind of network storage rather than connecting a USB to the network pretty much any day of the week. But then again, this is a dedicated, this particular drive is a dedicated, well, you can connect it by, well, your network goes up to 1,000 base T, that's gigabit speeds. Certainly, I believe, better throughput with this kind of connection than I could get through USB 2.0, either connected to a computer on the network or specifically to a wireless router like the AirPort Extreme base station. So, yeah, I think that's it. I would recommend it. I wouldn't connect the printer or a hard drive to it. Well, the printer, yeah, is probably worth doing. Connecting the hard drives to it, I would keep that connected to one of your primary machines and share from there. I don't know. What does everybody else think? Do you own an Apple Extreme base station? I almost picked up an AirPort Express too. I think that's what they call it. These little plug-ins that they're only capable of going up to wireless G speed, so I didn't get one. I wanted one that went up to wireless N, and then I could extend the range of my network. Although it seems like I don't even need that. So what do you guys think? Apple AirPort base station, network storage, USB drive. We kind of covered it a lot here, and I suppose that's pretty good for 1:30 in the morning. Gosh, I gotta find something better to do. All right, so you know what to do. Leave a comment, remark, follow up, or of course swing by the chat room. Let us know what you think. Maybe you are having similar issues. Maybe you figured out workarounds or better ways to work with a network or a wireless network. Leave some tips, tricks, and tell us what you're thinking. The website that you need to come to if you want to chat with us live anytime, day or night, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.